What's going on, Dogman Dan here, Warframe, and we are finally going to address the Sanctuary Onslaught mode that is now available on PC, not on consoles yet. It'll come soon enough. No date yet, so I can't really tell you until they announce it, but there's been so many issues with this Sanctuary Onslaught mode now in this first week that I'm sure we're a little bit off of getting it that way. However, I've got some time in this video. I'm running Elite Sanctuary Onslaught in the background. So I've got some time in this video to kind of talk about everything about this, give or take, where we're at now a week later, and kind of give you my thoughts after I talk about the actual game mode. So it's a new endless game mode, basically. Prerequisite would be the new strange quest has to be completed. Then you're going to go talk to Cephalon Samaras at his sanctuary in the relay, or select the and then select the Sanctuary Onslaught in the Syndicate World State window tab, whichever way you want to. New terms they're calling zones, basically the same as a wave or a round, more or less, etc. in the endless mode. Data conduits, they're the portals that you jump through every couple of minutes. Efficiency is the means to keep the conduit open. So when you run out of efficiency, the conduit closes, the mode ends, you see everything that you did, and you move on and start all over again. Basically, so what you do, you enter there, the conduit, like I said. You have increasing difficulty specimens for 2.5 minutes. Each specimen you kill attributes to your overall efficiency, with Eximus specimens attributing more. Efficiency stimulus, you can find them spawning per zone, and they grant a 10% efficiency. Use them wisely. First couple times I did it, I had no idea, so I was just picking them up. Didn't realize that they actually have a 10% gain on them. And so you don't want to hit all of them at one time. You want to wait on them if you have to. But as you go farther into the mode, you'll get less and less efficiency stimulus things to spawn. So it gets a little bit more complex. Each zone after the first triggers a 45-second focus boost. That scales in multiplayer, max to a 16x. This is what was originally there. Kill specimens as fast as you can, get more focus, basically. But they have changed that, and we all know they've changed that a little bit. But we'll get into that in a little while. When a zone is complete, the Samaras will open up the new data conduit. You move to the next one. It's a harder zone. Blah, blah, blah. Elite Sanctuary is hard mode. Each week, Samaras simulates a predetermined sequence of tile sets with the elite specimens. This is not for the leisurely, as specimens are stronger and Samaras rewards for the elite data mimic your efforts, which is not completely true, but it is nice to see in the rotations or as rewards a little bit of endo, but what's really nice to see is like a ton of radiant relics in elite mode. So elite mode is a radiant relic farming zone, if you will. So some tips that you need to know. There's no gear wheel, no specters, no motes. They're all disabled in both modes, the regular Onslaught and the Elite Onslaught. Samaras determines... Now, he used to demand in the beginning, the first couple days before they fixed it, that you had to have a rank 30 Warframe. You don't have to have a rank 30 Warframe on regular Onslaught, but I think you have to still have a rank 30 in the Elite now. An overuse of abilities will skew the data. He'll get tolerance against certain abilities, especially the ultimates and the first abilities of your Warframe, so just keep that in mind. You may not ever see it happen, but there may be a rule where it changes and they're not affected by your abilities for a round or a zone, if you will. Each conduit zone entered advances, removes the current buffs, activates active Warframe abilities, combo multipliers, resets your energy to the respective base level. Harder enemies are from a baseline, so you get used to that. No gear is the big thing, so no gear wheel, none of that. You can't have any of that, so you want to be specific or be careful about what you're bringing in terms of gear. You want to think about your um, pet, like your Kubro or your Sentinel, what you want to bring in, if any of those are going to help you get efficiency back, any of that. So think that in mind when you're doing this. The amount of efficiency, as I said, spawns, and the farther you go in, the less you get to you get none. So just keep that in mind. Specimens do not drop real world things like mods or resources. In the Samaras, rewards certainly do exist, though focus boons and rewards tables are plenty. We are also going to introduce a series of rewards that has been out once this launches. Now, so in that regards, they've changed the Elite Onslaught to not have the Korra blueprints and stuff. So you want to get the Korra Warframe, you're going to run the regular Onslaught. If you want to go for the better rewards, if you will, you got the Elite Onslaught. Now there are a couple of nice things in the regular Onslaught besides the Korra. You also get some relics, but you also have a chance to pick up the new tile sets for your Captura, if you will. There's a few in there in the regular. I think there are a few as well in the Elite. Yes, there are. But what's special inside the Elite between all the Radiant relics throughout is the fact that you can now farm for your Lato Vandal and your Bratton Vandal. The closed beta items are now available, as well as inside of Rotation C, the Peculiar Bloom mod. The Peculiar mod, one Peculiar mod, is currently available. So keep that in mind. There is a big difference between regular and Elite mode. So you've got that. It's definitely in terms of scaling, and we know how scaling goes. So this is where it gets a little complicated, right? So going back to a dev workshop from a couple days ago where Rebecca posted about the Elite Onslaught and the whole scaling issue. And here's where things get complicated, because there are a lot of bugs right now inside of Onslaught. There's still a lot of disconnects that happen. People losing their rewards because of disconnects, host migration issues. There is a host, basically, of bugs going on in the Onslaught mode. And we know that PC players are the test base, so you should always expect it. So what I usually say is, the first few days that it's out, if you're going in for anything other than just trying to have fun with it, you're basically probably going to rage quit, because it's just known there's tons of bugs, which is why I didn't really focus on it right away in the beginning. There's still a ton of bugs. There's still a ton of issues, though. And so going back to some of the stuff that she talked about, focus gains and focus losses, and to maintain the difficulty in missions. Let's see. They understand the importance of reaching Zone 8, more or less. And that's basically because Zone 8 is your Rotation C. So similar to like a survival where you'd have Rotation A, B, and C. So 2 zones is Rotation A, 4 zones is still Rotation A, 6 zones is Rotation B. Zone 8 starts Rotation C, and then it goes back again to 2, 4, 6, 8. So every 8 rounds is a Rotation C. Yeah. Okay. So now, like I said, they're talking about that, and so they wanted to tweak the numbers carefully to ensure that the mark was still reachable before enemy difficulty is too high. But as the mode intended to offer a bite-sized arcade-style type gameplay, they had to adjust the later stages to further limit the run duration. So you want us to run in endless mode, but you want to limit us on being able to run the endless mode. Efficiency stimuli will no longer appear past zone 15. Efficiency drains. At one point, they had the efficiency was draining at 6 times the normal. Then they changed it a couple days ago to 10 times the normal rate by zone 20. And instead, they're going back to the 6 times the normal rate. So it's still pretty high efficiency drain at the higher level. But yeah, at least they brought it back from 10 down to 6. It's a little better. Leaderboards are going to get reset. Hot fixes pretty much are going to keep coming. And TLDR, the enemy scaling is broken and difficulty changes will follow. We know enemy scaling is broken. Enemy scaling has been broken in the main game for years. And they bring out an Onslaught mode. And of course enemy scaling is going to be broken. It's the same thing. It didn't change. It's actually something, honestly, that should have been considered before bringing out the mode, is that, hey, our enemy scaling system sucks, and maybe we really need to address enemy scaling before we deliver it into a new endless game mode and pretty much screw everybody over. And then go ahead and take the fun of it and kind of nerf that around a little bit, mess around with it until we see how pissed off everybody gets, and then we'll change it up a little bit more. But that's basically where it was at a couple days ago. So now, like I said, if you go into it for anything other than, hey, let's go have some fun, let's see what we can do. If I get some cool rewards out of it, awesome. Yeah, then you're going to be fine. You're not going to be as stressed out. You're not going to be freaking out when things go wrong. But posted today from, let's see, what is it, 26th, from D.E. Connor, about an hour ago from when I'm looking at it. There's some more changes, and Samaras is not done calibrating, as they put it in here. Here's the thing. So, Samaras recalibrations of the mode have come fast and frequent. I wanted to share some of the changes for Onslaught mode going forward. And remember, everything here is subject to change, blah, blah, blah. More efficiency tweaks. They are undoing the passive energy drain, like I said. Instead of it being a 10x drain, max drain will now be back to 6x in both modes, just like it was at release. Furthermore, the efficiency drain at the start on regular Onslaught has been reduced, allowing players to reach Wave 8 more easily. They didn't say guaranteed, they just said a little more easily you'll be able to reach Wave 8. But with all the changes in their enemy system, there's that. Now, we get over to enemy level increases at high levels. In Elite Onslaught, enemies will now scale up to a level 280 by Zone 25, if you get that far, instead of being capped at a 180. So now they've really increased that. We still see Onslaught as a more bite-sized gameplay experience, but combined with the efficiency changes above, how far your team can go is dictated slightly more on your ability to kill instead of hard numeric limits. Kind of contradicts itself there. Just my opinions. I'm just saying. So enemy scaling, we know it's broken. Armor broken on enemies, blah, blah, blah. Well, here you go. It just gets even more of a pain in the ass in Elite mode. Spawn fixes. They're aware that some tile sets are not creating equal spawns, and they'll be watching for more community complaints regarding the lack of enemies. And when you have a zone that's not spawning, you're not making it to the next zone because the enemies aren't spawning, and I've seen this time and time again. The issue needs to be fixed manually by our level designers for each tile, so thanks for bearing with us as we continue to track the issue over time. Friendly reminder, screenshots taken using the F6 will contain metadata that helps our programmers identify the tile in question. Put it in bug reports on the forums. Thank you. Ongoing improvements. Onslaught core functionality has been nailed down. We have several ideas on how to spice things up. The random environmental hazards we added yesterday are a good example of this. Warframe is no stranger to live changes, so hopefully this comes as no surprise to longtime players. I think you're going to have a lot of people burn out on it pretty quickly, my opinion, because it's still pretty fucked up. Oh my god, my phones won't stop. Sorry, everybody. Forgive me. Plus, an added bonus, since focus gain is an important aspect of the mode, we're increasing the daily focus cap. Bear with me, my phone won't stop. Holy crap. Are you done yet? Thank you. In addition to the base limit of 250,000, players will have an additional 5,000 cap room for each mastery rank that they have achieved. This means if you're mastery 20, you'll now have up to a 350,000 daily cap. One final comment about enemy scaling. This game mode won't be the place where they tackle that issue. Apologies if anyone felt like this was a secret experiment for enemy scaling. We would have told you in advance if that was the case. Whether or not you loved the easier enemies, it is simply not part of this, and we have a lot of issues to solve before we can even begin that path. We apologize for the undue stress and the process of making these changes causes host migration bugs and are frustrating, and changes sometimes not quick enough to confusing, but we are still working on things. Yes, but the problem is your enemy scaling system and the lack thereof doing it properly is the biggest issue that has to be resolved and should have been resolved before releasing a mode that focuses on enemy scaling as you go through each zone. I'm just saying, makes clear sense. This is something that should have been addressed. It's been a known issue for years, and you can't say it hasn't been. I like the game mode. Yes, it's for fun. Sure, I'm going to enjoy it. Definitely a bit more of a challenge, especially if you're doing it with randoms, because you never know how far you're really going to get. I mean, my first live stream, I ended up by myself doing 2 rounds, like round 9 and 10, because everybody quit. So whatever. But go out, enjoy it. At least leave some comments below. Tell me what you think about it or what you're looking into it. I will follow up again with it as there's more updates and more bug fixes and more changes. And hopefully the improvements get better instead of worse in terms of nerfing. But we'll see where it stands. For now, I'm on the fence. I like the mode. I'll have fun with the mode. But it is definitely got some major issues. Until next time, thanks for tuning in, and I'll check you guys soon.